Hi everyone! Welcome to All of You ASMR, where I give weekly podcast style videos in ASMR format relating to the topic down below. I hope you guys enjoy this video and learn something new from it for your own life to improve your life. And let's get started. So, today's video topic that I want to cover and talk about is actually on dating advice and dating tips. And I just feel very passionate about this topic personally because I've actually been dating for, I would say, almost 2 decades. I started when I was really, really young, actually around middle school, and now I'm in my late 20s. And I think I've just learned, quite a few things about dating, how you should approach it or how I would approach it now, seeing mistakes I made in the past, and I just want to share all of it with you guys. So, first things first, I actually don't date in the super conventional way that a lot of, I think, people in America may date, or the American media portrays is the way you should date. For starters, I don't follow my emotions right off the bat. I'm not dating to get the butterflies feeling or to be super attracted and addicted to a guy like right off the bat. I actually date using my mind and just following logic and thinking things through before jumping into anything. So the reason I say this is because if you're dating for long-term compatibility, especially for marriage, then you really want to make sure that you guys will make great life partners and essentially have the most easy way to get along with each other without having to make huge compromises on your personality, your values, your wants out of life. And just, you need to make sure you guys can very easily and compatibly get along for a long time. And the only way you can, observe if that this person is a good match for you is if you really sit down and take the time to self-reflect on what things you really are looking for in a partner that are very important to you. And here I think a lot of people make a mistake, at least when they're younger, in the early 20s, or they look for a lot of more superficial and surface level traits, such as the appearance, or even like if they have the exact same hobbies as you, or if if they're a certain height or body build or something like that. But as you get older, I think you'll realize that more practically you just want to have an enjoyable life experience with someone that you can very easily and naturally respect, and build a partnership that is happy and stable and lasts for a very long time without having to, you know, fundamentally change them or yourself in order to get along. And in this way, I recommend, all guys and girls before they start to seriously date, especially for marriage, to take the time, sit down in a room and just write down the top, 5 to 10 character traits that they want to see in their partner. And I'll give you an example of some of the traits I look for in my partner so that maybe you have some inspiration for what you want to model off for your own list. But essentially, my most important top one trait that I always look for and is a hard requirement, I won't compromise on this, is that they are a kind-hearted person. And the reason I believe being kind-hearted is so important is because if they are kind-hearted and they are just, really, really a nice person, they will go out of their way to not hurt you and to make sure that you feel respected and welcome and even happy in the relationship. So that's one of my non-negotiables, being kind-hearted. Second one, my trait is that they're a loyal person, meaning that they're very, loyal, dedicated to, and this doesn't just mean to me, you know, they should be loyal and dedicated to whatever they do in life. If they plan to do something and they say they'll do it, do they actually follow through and accomplish what they say they will do? You know, I see that as a form of loyalty to their task or their job or to their friends, you know, to family, to you. Are they the type to stick by someone's side or stick it through even during difficult times? And really want to work things out instead of just jumping ship because things got hard. You don't want a fair weather partner, because a fair weather partner will leave you high and dry when things get tough, you know, when you have an illness or lose your job or even just feel down for a week or two. You don't want that partner to just decide, hey, I can find someone better, I'm just gonna leave now. That's not okay. You know, that's not what you want to invest in with your time. So loyalty is my second. It's important. And then third one, I really care that the my partner is an honest person. And by honest, I don't even mean, you know, extreme honesty, maybe even over honesty, where they tell you every single thought in their mind, and have no filter. That's not what I mean by honest. By honest, I mean that they are an honest person to themselves, and they know themselves well enough to have to be able to self-reflect and admit when they're wrong or need to improve or grow or change as a person. You know, like the honesty here I'm looking for is actually self-honesty, their ability to see themselves in a and truthful light, you know, because I've dated guys in the past who are just very proud. They have a huge ego, and they didn't necessarily lie or do something dishonest in the conventional way of the word, but if I ever challenged them on one of their beliefs or even their actions to me or a friend that I may have thought was hurtful or not right, they lack the self-honesty and self-insight to be able to reflect and put aside their ego and pride, and really meet me where I was at and work on things together as a couple and grow and improve as a person. So, you know, I guess what goes hand in hand with being honest is being humble. And that kind of ties to what I was explaining about being able to put aside your ego and work on things for the couple as a team. That's very important as well. I guess a fifth character trait that I really care about, and this one is not talked about very often, at least not publicly, because I think there's still some stigma around this in this day and age. I don't know why, but I think it's very important to be on the same page about sexual compatibility. Like, I've read so many horror stories on the subreddit r/dead bedrooms, and personally, I've also experienced this in some failed relationships in my past, where if the sex drives are just completely incompatible between a partner and each other, in the long run, someone is going to be miserable. Someone's going to feel, you know, bitter or unloved or neglected, and that's not healthy. That's not a healthy foundation for a long-term relationship, a happy marriage that lasts decades and decades. Actually, research shows, you know, psychology research shows that partners who have very healthy and matching sex drives and sex life are happier in their marriages and are better able to work through conflict and even compromise with one another to make each other happier, because they're able to have that glue that keeps the couple together in a way that nothing else can keep you together, because you don't share that kind of bond with your friend or your parents or your siblings or even your child. You share that with your partner and only your partner alone. If it's a monogamous, you know, not open relationship, then you only have that one person to fill those needs, and you really need to figure out as best as you can that those needs are relatively on the same page, you know, on the same page. And, you know, for my viewers who are more conservative and may not believe in sexual intimacy before marriage, or even, you know, just want to save it for that point in time, there's still ways to learn about sexual compatibility before marriage without literally doing the action. And one of the ways you can do that is just ask them questions about their views on sex. Just open up a dialogue and ask them, how often it is they like to pleasure themselves, or how ideally they would see their sex life with their partner once married, and what are their fantasies even. Even you can ask them, even leading questions like, what's holding you back from seeing sex in a positive light, or do you even see sex in a positive light? Like, these are very important questions that you should be comfortable talking with your partner about before making a long-term decision to make them your sole supplier of that function in life, in marriage, and for the eternity of your marriage. So I think that's very important. I just want to say this, especially for the Asian community, anyone who's watching. It is important, in my opinion, even if it's not what our parents may have taught us. And then I guess, I'll just throw in a couple other traits that are important that I look for, but I won't go into deep detail because this will make the video really, really long. But other important things is like financial compatibility. And this doesn't even necessarily mean the exact same views on money. It just means, for example, do they have similar financial goals and management styles? And do they think about money in a way that's similar to you? For example, if you really believe that having experiences and friendships and sharing life with one another is more important than money, but your partner thinks money is more important than, life experiences and relationships, and therefore they may come across as more stingy than you, or vice versa, that is going to be a mismatch that may grate on you over time. Over a long period of time, you just might get really fed up and be like, I just want to put down money for a nice vacation with the kids, with my husband, but he doesn't want to spend it because he wants to put it into a retirement account. He doesn't believe in putting, experiences and relationship before finances. And if it's a very wide gap, and I'm not saying one version is right and one version is wrong, I'm just saying there's a wide gap in the way you see this situation, then you may not be as compatible, and this will lead to more fighting later down the line, even if it's not obvious at the front, but it's better to get these things sorted out before you commit to marriage to this person, and see if their mindset on money and yours is similar, so that you'll have a more easy, agreeable relationship for long term. And then another thing is, you kind of want to see well, I guess the most important thing is, if you are looking for all these traits in your own partner, you should be able to offer them yourself to your partner. And this is where it comes in, the whole work on yourself, improve as a person, improve as a significant other before you even actually tie yourself to a significant other. It's kind of like approaching getting a new job, right? You want to at least be prepared for the interview. You want to know at least 50-60% of the skills that they have in the job listing before you apply, and then hopefully get the job offer. Just like if you expect your significant other to be honest and loyal, kind-hearted, responsible with money, and whatever else, you should be able to offer those same traits to them, because in the end, actually, like attracts like. In the long term, like attracts like. So if you have all those traits, embody them, you will most likely attract people to you who can also appreciate those traits in you as well. And then I guess this part of my dating advice video is a bit different. This is the part where I think are the things that are more negotiable in a match, and why I think, you can compromise on if you have your core values. What are some things you can compromise on in dating that you shouldn't filter out a good match for yourself if they just aren't the same in these ways? And I think these are things that can be slightly complementary traits, or even mismatched traits, but they could still be a great partner to you. And I think one of these is introversion versus extroversion. An introverted person might think they should find another introverted person. An extroverted person thinks they might need to find another extroverted person. But honestly, I've seen the strongest partnerships happen when this pair of traits is complementary, where one person is like slightly more outgoing, the other person is a little more reserved, and in this way there's almost like a nice push and pull balance where they don't fight for the spotlight together. If it's two extroverts, they're both kind of struggling for the spotlight, wanting to do this and that, and then neither of them wants to be the listener who's quiet, and the other person just gets to talk. They'll get upset that they don't get their turn to talk. But if you get an introvert with an extrovert, a lot of the time there's this really nice give and take where the extrovert is able to express themselves very freely. The introvert enjoys listening to their extrovert partner and thinking about the things they say. And then when the introvert finally does speak up and stuff, the extrovert really wants to listen as well, because they don't hear much from their partner in terms of, talking and stuff like that. So that's also one of the traits I think that can be negotiable and complementary in a partner. Another things I think can be, complementary and not in same exact match in values is things like life experience. For example, if one partner has not as much life experience as the other, but the other person might experience a lot more in life, whether it's through circumstance or they moved a lot as a child, their family may have been in a lot of different countries, or they've just even had more dating experience and stuff like that. That doesn't necessarily make the two people incompatible, because in a way one person can learn from the other. It might be very interesting for the person with less life experience to hear about the person with all the life experience sharing what they experience and learn. And the person with less life experience could also be more of a stable anchor, a calming agent almost to the other person who has seen like the world and maybe now wants to have some nice quiet stable time with their partner to unwind and not be as explorative, if that makes sense. So I think these things, it's nice to have a complement almost in these areas, so that you're not competing in these skill sets, almost like skill sets. And then I guess last thing I want to say, because this dating video is going on for a really long time, and there will be more parts to this and follow up. It's going to be a whole series. Is that what really makes dating a good experience for you and whoever you're dating is if you approach the experience as a learning opportunity, as a way to learn more about yourself as a person, your needs, your wants, what you're looking for, and also to just have a chance to learn about another human being, and who they are. And even if things don't work out and you guys don't become boyfriend girlfriend or engaged or married, you'll have learned about another person's world and their worldviews, their likes or dislikes, them as a person, so that you can grow yourself and be inspired to become a better person yourself through this learning experience. So if you approach dating with that open mind instead of the end goal of like, I need to lock down a partner and I need this partner to marry me in X years, if you have this curiosity driven mindset, and open-minded, open heart way of dating, it'll be a lot less stressful, low pressure, and you'll actually get to enjoy their company and learn about them as a person, and maybe you'll make a good friend out of it. At the worst, if you guys don't work out, you can be good friends, and at the best, it might be the match that you're happy with for the rest of your life. So yeah, these are the tips I want to cover in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this edition of All of You ASMR. Tune in next week for more advice and life tips and whatnot. Please comment, subscribe, and like this video if you enjoy what you see. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.